All right, boys, today we're back here with another best ability lineup. Now, today there will be a couple different options because like best abilities really depends on scheme, and a lot of it is to do with the defensive side of the ball. But let's go ahead and talk about quarterback. Also, when we're making this video, it's not necessarily me saying the best player at every position because the best quarterback I still think is Brady. However, the best ability quarterback, I would say it's a tie between two. One just gets everything for 0. That's going to be Otto Graham. Literally, you name an ability, like even Master Tactician, you can make on the card for 0 AP, does have a weakness with that Gen 2 release. He also gets that Truz X Factor as a base ability as well. And the other quarterback that I want to mention, because it does depend on playstyle, I think Patrick Mahomes still has to be mentioned with that built-on run and gun. If you're playing outside the pocket a lot, rolling out, Patrick Mahomes is your guy. And he can get a really good stack with the run and gun, with the pass lead elite, with the fearless, the gunslinger, the gift wrap, and Master Tactician as well. So these are the two options at quarterback. And now let's talk about running back right here. Running back, I'm going to go Jahmyr Gibbs. I do just want to mention Jonathan Brooks because they're like neck and neck for me. I think they're a 1A, 1B type situation for running back. Now Gibbs gets Energizer for 0, first one free, freight train all for 0 AP, and then every ability you could ever want for a running back for 0 AP as well. So he's just ridiculous. I want him over Jonathan Brooks because of the first one free as well. I think it's not really too noticeable though. If you want to say Jonathan Brooks played better than Gibbs, I don't hate it. Now let's talk about fullback. Fullback, I think, is a pretty like obvious one. We're going to go Ben Skronek right here, and also we are going to go Franco Harris. Now, these two cards right here are Vanguard players. Vanguard, one of the most annoying things to go up against in online head-to-head, and these two cards right here can take your run game to another level. You can also play them at tight end, and then when we cover the tight ends, you can play those Vanguards at receiver and get a little bit nasty like that. And speaking of wide receiver, this is the first point in the video where I really think it depends how nasty you want to play. Like, are you going to go all out run the ball, or are you going to focus more on passing? And we're going to have two different trio of wide receivers depending on how you play, right? So if you are very pass heavy, like you are not running the ball, my top 3 receivers are Chris Olave with the built-on double me and yak him up. And you're going to notice me today, we're not really going to be talking about base abilities, and that's just because the game at this point, it's not really base abilities anymore. It's X Factors versus X Factors. So that's like the most important thing, getting the baked on X Factor. We got Chris Olave at wide receiver 1. I also really like Rome Odunze as well with the built on double me. And I also really like Puka in the slot right here with that built on rack 'em up. These 3 receivers right here all get a built on X Factor that can go ahead and help you beat that bottleneck press. It's not going to be an every single play thing, but it does give you a chance. That's why I really value these receivers. However, the different receiver trio is, guess what? You want to run the ball, so we want Vanguard at receiver. So the players we're going to prioritize here are Montez Sweat, again, gets the Vanguard. We're going to have Anquan Bolden right here as well, and he's a little bit of a hybrid player. Like, he could do both. He does get the double me, and he also does get Vanguard for 0 AP. He gets 3 different X Factors, so he is a hybrid player. He could do both. The 97 speed is like the one knock, and I don't think stacking double me and rack 'em up like together beat the bottleneck press any better than like the base X Factor. Hope that makes sense. And a wide receiver 3, we're going to have Victor Cruz for this trio as well. So yeah, 3 Vanguard receivers right here that can instantly pancake the DBs. If you're more of a runner, this is the receiver trio for you. And if you're more of a passer, I really like Rome Odunze, Puka, and also Chris Olave. And you can throw Anquan Bolden in the mix right there too. I totally get that. Now, tight end, this is a spot where I'm just like, you should just go Vanguard no matter what. Even if you're not too much of a runner, like for me, you should also fill out all 3 tight end spots because of how valuable it can be. Because even if you're a passer and you want to run like the Rome Odunze, the Chris Olave, the receivers we covered, what you can do is, okay, red zone situations, these 2 go to tight end, and then your tight ends go to receiver, right? John Mackey, I do think, is the best tight end in the game. He gets built on Vanguard for 0 AP. He can also get the secure protector for 0 and yak him up for 0. You can throw a jukebox on him for 2 AP, by the way, too. We have so much AP to spend. I don't hate that. Also, we're going to have Travis Kelce right here, and at tight end 3, we're going to go ahead and have Algie Crumpler. Now, the reason they're here, these are all Vanguard players, right? So in total, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 Vanguards already. So yeah, you can get really, really nasty with this lineup, and that's not even going over the offensive line yet. Someone I did want to mention too, you might have questions on, Evan Ingram does get that built-on double me for 0. I don't want to say he lost his value, but tight end is a position you usually can't press. And also we have so many receivers now that get the built-on X Factor. We don't need Evan Ingram right there. But let's talk about O-line now. Left tackle, I'm going to go ahead and have the free Joe Thomas from Fan Appreciation. again, this is a card that just gets every ability for 0 AP, like Secure Protector all day, post up, nasty streak, literally everything for 0. At left guard right here, we're gonna have Will Clapp. Will Clapp, I think you can debate where you want to play him. This is another Vanguard player as well. He gets that Vanguard for 1 AP. You can play him at tackle, you can play him at guard. I think just wherever you think the most amount of pancakes will be, that's where I would recommend playing him. And at center, we're gonna have Kevin Mawai. Now, what makes Kevin Mawai super interesting as well is the fact that he gets the post up for 0, he gets the Secure Protector, he gets Threat Detector for 1 AP, so we're gonna have that on, and he gets the Vanguard for 1. This is a card I would spend 2 AP on, and I think he's just the perfect center in the game given the meta as well. Right guard right here, we are gonna have Will Shields, very similar to Joe Thomas, gets everything for 0 AP, like Secure Protector all day, post up, nasty streak, you name it, 0 AP. And at right tackle, also very similar, gonna have Lincoln Kennedy, again, just everything for 0 AP. And yeah, boys, this is what the offense is looking like. And let's just talk about what we spend AP on. So 2 AP Kevin Y, 1 AP Will Clapp, 0 AP on Autogram, 0 AP on Jahmyr Gibbs, 1 AP Vanguard Victor Cruz. So you just have, what I'm trying to say is you have so much flexibility for abilities where you can, again, that's why we can run the jukebox on John Mackey, right? So yeah, this is what the offensive side of the ball is looking like. Let's go over the defense now. The defense is another thing where I'm going to talk about the secondary first, because it's either, do you want to counter the offensive meta or do you want to run the defensive meta, right? So what I mean by that is, you want to run bottleneck man press, or do you want to run reinforcements in as many spots as possible to give you a chance versus the Vanguards, right? I think either strategy is good. We're going to play the players that don't carry over at backup spots because I do think the bottleneck meta is better. Now, there are 2 corners right here that carry over no matter what. Marcus Peters is a lot better than what I thought he was going to be in that Red Zone Royale ranking video I did. I thought Acrobat was going to make him play really bad, but he played great, and he also gets that tackle supreme. Really all you need, pick artist, tackle supreme, universal coverage, bottleneck, great in that role as well, can do both. He's in the zone base lineup but also the man press lineup too. And another person that carries over as well is cornerback Randy Moss. Cornerback Randy Moss, what I like to run on him is I like the reinforcement for 0, the universal coverage, the tackle supreme in the like zone base lineup. But if you want to go again man coverage, you probably want to go reinforcement, universal coverage, bottleneck for 1, and then spin the 2 AP on secure tackler. You can do that too. So either which way, you can make him work man or zone lineup. These 2 cards extremely versatile. Now at CB4 right here, this is the zone base lineup by the way too. I'm gonna have Mark Bavaro. So the reason why Mark Bavaro is still here for me, 99 speed, 99 acceleration. This is a card you have to spend a decent amount of AP on to make him really like that top end. So reinforcement for 1 AP, help against the Vanguards a little bit. Gonna go the mid zone knockout for 0 and the lurk artist for 0. That right there is gonna make him great in man coverage, but I would recommend spending the 2 AP on secure tackler as well. Potential 3 AP on both Mark Bavaro and Randy Moss, but for the most part, everyone else on defense is going to be 0 AP. Now let's talk about the safety spots as well. Zone lineup first right here. I really like Mike Evans in this defense right here too. Mike Evans is one of my personal favorite cards in the game for how I like to run my defense. 6'5", and he also gets mid zone knockout, tackle supreme, reinforcement, all for 1 AP. I think that's just the stack that I'm really looking for with pieces in the secondary for a zone-based defense. Now, strong safety, I'm going to have Ryan Neal. Gets the universal coverage, so I think whether you want to play him as a man-based defense or a zone-based defense, he can get it done. Other things, he can get that charge-up reinforcement X-Factor out of my way, so I really like the way this card plays. I do want to give a slight honorable mention to like Jack Tatum too, because does get the universal on bottleneck. I think if you need another one, like him and Darrell Rivas aren't going to be on here today, but they are great cards. And like I said, this right here is like the zone-based secondary. Now let's talk about man coverage too. The corner that changes is going to be a DRC for me. So I heavily debated DRC versus Charvarius Ward, and I could see it going either which way. Charvarius Ward does get the secure tackler over DRC. DRC with the bottleneck, the universal coverage. I could see it going either which way because I just think this card plays absolutely amazing. You can also get the unfakeable and the stonewall on him to give him a chance to make tackles. I think he's really good on the outside. I would not play him in the slot because I think the slot obviously going to be a little bit more involved in the run game. Yeah, these would be my 3 corners for man coverage, and at free safety, I want a universal coverage player. This could be Jack Tatum for you. I'm going to keep it in position. I'm going to go ahead and go Larry Wilson. Again, this is just a universal coverage player for man coverage. And that's how the lineup really switches for me given man or zone. Now let's build out the front 7. So at an outside linebacker spot, Dave Robinson is elite. gets the reinforcement, gets the lurk artist, gets everything for 0 AP, like a mid-zone knockout, and out of my way, tackle supreme, you name it, 0 AP. I think he is the best linebacker in the game. Now, middle linebacker 1 right here, we are going to go Caleb Jones. This is a beastly user, 6'9", 370, 99 speed. Now, this is what I run on Caleb Jones: reinforcement, universal coverage, tackle supreme, lurk artist, 1 AP. I like spending the 1 AP just, again, want as many people on the field with reinforcement to give you a chance versus the vanguards no matter what. Middle linebacker 2 right here, I'm gonna have Zach Thomas. Dolphins, great, gets the universal coverage, can also be an avalanche and fortress supreme player for you. I think a lot of defenses, though, you don't need 2 middle linebackers. Like, you can have Dave Robinson, Caleb Jones, and whoever you want this left outside linebacker to be. And that's the interesting spot right here, left outside linebacker. Man, do you have some choices. Again, bottleneck man press meta, someone who's actually a really great user still is Derek Thomas. I talked about this in a previous video where Derek Thomas gets that built-on bottleneck, and if you user this card and you user press players, gonna get that bottleneck press win animation. So I think that's really, really nasty. Something you could do there. Besides that, if you don't want a user, say you want a pass rusher, we have cards like Joey Bosa. We have cards like Whitney Merciless, like Odafe Owe right here. Like, I think this spot is really dependent on what you need for your team. Me personally, I want a coverage player. So again, we have 3 though. We have 3 options. We have Randy Moss potentially. We have Calvin Johnson. We have Rob Gronkowski as well. So I'm going to go ahead and go Calvin just because I think he moves the best, and he's lurk artist, tackle supreme, mid-zone knockout, 1 AP. I love this card as an outside linebacker. Now let's talk about the defensive line. I have to have this card on the team, and he should be an X-Factor player for you. Aiden Hutchinson. Aiden Hutchinson's here because of the charge up momentum shift, not having to play Omaha or charge up X-Factors on offense, right? Why he's here, does get the dual threat, gets some great abilities as well, but his main purpose is that momentum shift charge up. Now, the other thing that I would prioritize on the defensive line is run stuffer. I think run stuffer does a good job versus Secure Pro, and if you're really struggling with run defense, I would recommend trying out these cards. And these cards include Mario Williams, that also gets Colossus as well for 0. I think Mario Williams is one of the better cards in the game. Jevon Curse is a problem. The run stuffer, the unstoppable force, he is a beast as well. And a DT, I really like Klecko. You can spend the 2 AP for Colossus on him, but again, I love him just with the run stuffer. And I also really like rookie premier Braden Fisk as well. So you could potentially get 4 run stuffer defensive linemen right here. And how you can use Aiden Hutchinson now is you can like sub him in when you're like, okay, like the X factors are getting annoying. And yeah, boys, this is what the lineup's looking like. A lot of it is just scheme dependent, right? Like, it's just, okay, do you want vanguards on offense, right? Is that your play style? Do you want to run heavy? Do you on defense want to run the bottleneck man coverage, or do you want to go ahead and potentially counter the vanguards with reinforcement? There's a lot of different players you can play at different spots, and you could all say they're the best, and I won't say you're wrong. So yeah, boys, hope y'all did enjoy the video, man. If you did, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more Madden 24 Ultimate Team content just like this. Now, if you guys do want to go ahead and see me use these cards live, I'm going to be streaming every single day, 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern on Twitch. Check the links in the description, hit that Twitch with the follow. But if you guys do want another video to watch, check out this one right here.